to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet, the daughter.
And I'm Kevin, the dad.
And in the midst of a blizzard, we decided, screw this, we're going to Jamaica. So we are doing, in honor of the late great Jimmy Cliff, the soundtrack to the film, The Harder They Come. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
We need to know that James Chambers was born July 30th, 1944 in St. James, Jamaica. He started writing songs while in grade school, and when he was 14, his father took him to Kingston, where he adopted the name Jimmy Cliff, per Wikipedia, an allusion to the career heights he hoped to scale.
Oh.
Jimmy sought out producers while still in school. He tried getting his songs recorded and entered talent contests. Quote, one night I was walking past a record store and restaurant as they were closing, pushed myself in and convinced one of them, Leslie Kong, to go into the recording business, starting with me. His first two singles went nowhere, but his third, Hurricane Hattie, became a hit when Jimmy was 17. Kong produced the record, and Jimmy stayed with Kong until the latter's death from a heart attack in 1971.
Ooh.
Jimmy had more local hit singles, and in 1964 he was chosen as one of Jamaica's representatives at the 1964 New York World's Fair. He signed with Island Records and moved to the UK. Island tried to market Jimmy to the rock audience, but without success. His debut album, Hard Road to Travel, came out in 1967. It got good reviews, and the song Waterfall became a hit in Brazil because you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
In 1969, he released the song Wonderful World, Beautiful People, which became an American Top 40 hit, peaking at number 25.
I'm Casey Kasem.
Yes, you are. He'd hit the top 40 one more time in 1993 when his cover of Johnny Nash's I Can See Clearly Now from the Cool Runnings soundtrack went to number 18.
Aww.
That was the John Candy movie about the Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh, okay.
In 1969, he also released Many Rivers to Cross, which has been covered a lot. In 1972, Jimmy starred in the movie The Harder They Come. It was a huge hit in Jamaica and did well internationally, too.
Have you seen it?
No, not yet. But I think the Avon Theater used to have midnight showings for, like, quite a while.
Oh, cool.
Back when they were good. The soundtrack, which we're going to review, played a major part in popularizing reggae in the United States and the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 1976, Jimmy was the musical guest on the 12th episode of the first season of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, wow.
In the 1980s, Bruce Springsteen added Jimmy's song Trapped to his set list.
Yes.
And a recorded live version was included on 1985's We're the World album.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy also appeared on the benefit song Sun City by Artists United Against Apartheid. In 1986, Jimmy's album Cliffhanger won a Grammy for Best Reggae Album. And fun facts, Jimmy collaborated with Kool and the Gang and LaToya Jackson on Cliffhanger.
Hanging from the cliff. Sorry.
Also in 1986, Jimmy provided backing vocals for the Rolling Stones' Dirty Work album. He also starred in the movie Club Paradise along with Robin Williams and Peter O'Toole.
Oh, yeah. That movie's got really bad reviews. I've never seen it, and I'm scared to.
Well, Peter O'Toole earned a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor, but he
Yeah.
didn't win. Anyway, Jimmy kept releasing albums. Well, the thing with the movie was Harold Ramis said if they had gotten the people that he wanted
Yeah.
instead of Robin Williams and Peter O'Toole, it would have been a better movie.
Would it, though?
I don't know.
We'll
He seemed to
never know.
think so. But anyway, Jimmy kept releasing albums and touring. In 2003, he was awarded Jamaica's Order of Merit,
Oh, yeah.
that country's fourth highest honor. In 2010, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, becoming only the second Jamaican inducted. And I think we all know who the first one was. In 2012, he released the album Rebirth, produced by Rancid frontman Tim Armstrong. It got great reviews, and in 2013, it won Jimmy his second Best Reggae Album Grammy. Jimmy released his final album, Refugees, in August 2022. He died on November 24th, 2025, of pneumonia. Now, as for me, back in the 80s, I remember hearing Jimmy Cliff's The Harder They Come, and you can get it if you really want on WBRU, back when they used to do that sort of thing. I ended up buying the vinyl, and I didn't play it a lot, but it was one of those things where, like, many years later, I got a Toots and the Maytals album I still have on vinyl, and I played it, and I thought, I think their stuff is on that Harder They Come soundtrack. So I pulled out the album and played it, and I was just blown away. It was one of those things where I finally caught up to it. Um, Somehow I got my hands on a 2-disc deluxe version of The How Do They Come from the Seekonk Library.
Oh,
I think it was either on the shelf or maybe I ordered it. I can't remember, but I thought it was one of those things where like, yeah, I think I want to download it. So I downloaded the whole thing, and last year I was able to find the deluxe edition, I think either on eBay or Amazon. I want to say eBay, and was very reasonably priced. Now, as for the album, Jimmy Cliff only recorded one new song for the soundtrack, which of course was the title track. Director slash producer slash writer Perry Hensel spent a lot of time going through records trying to find the right songs that would fit the movie's key scenes. It wasn't just a pick of a dozen songs for the heck of it. Island Records founder Chris Blackwell sequenced the songs for the LP and tried to make it work as one piece. He was worried, though, that two of Jimmy Cliff's songs appear twice, even though they're sort of different versions. And the reason that they're on there twice is because Perry Hensel thought that they were perfect for the final dramatic closing scenes of the movie.
okay.
The songs picked for the How Do They Come were recorded from the period of 1967 to 1972. The soundtrack was released in the UK in July of 72 on Island Records. It was released in the United States on February of 73 on the Mango label. And the soundtrack went to 140 on Billboard's 200 albums charts.
Okay.
And again, this was the album that popularized reggae around the world. In 2021, The How Do They Come was selected for preservation in the United States National Recording Registry. Now, as for the 2-disc set, Disc 1 is the original soundtrack, while Disc 2 is kind of looked on as a continuation of the soundtrack, compiling 18 reggae singles from around the same period in 1968 to 1973.
Yeah.
The most famous song being Johnny Nash's I Can See Clearly Now.
Mm-hmm.
It also includes the Jimmy Cliff songs Vietnam, which Bob Dylan called the greatest protest song ever,
Wow.
Let Your Yeah Be Yeah, Wonderful World, Beautiful People, and The Bigger They Come, The Harder They Fall. There's also a 28-page booklet that has testimonies from Perry Hensel and Chris Blackwell, along with a history of how the movie came to be. There's also song lyrics for all the songs on both discs and lots of credits, and it's just a very well done package. And so let's dive into it.
Oh, yes, let's. First track, You Can Get It If You Really Want. This sounds like the opening to a 70s sitcom, and I mean that in the best way, especially with the gentle trumpets. Definitely something to play over the opening credits. The thesis of this song is in the title, and it makes its case very kindly. You have to try for it because, after all, Rome wasn't built in a day, and there will be obstacles in your way. A very comforting motivational song that does its job in under 3 minutes.
This is by Jimmy Cliff, and it was originally quoted in July 1970, and it's been covered a lot. Desmond Decker released his version a few weeks after Jimmy's came out and got a hit with it. And yeah, if you want something, you have to work hard for it, and eventually you'll get it. It's that easy. Which, I mean, well, or hard. It happened to Jimmy in real life, but this is something that doesn't happen to Jimmy's character Ivan in the movie. The music comes across as optimistic as the lyrics, and the chorus is very sing-alongable, if that's a
Singable.
phrase. Thank you.
Yep. Next track, Draw Your Brakes. This is the song where you have to do some research as to why this song is styled the way it is. It's written and performed in Jamaican sing-jay style, chanting spoken word over recordings. This is a cover of a 1965 song that incorporates more Jamaican patois. The story is a man finds out the woman he loves left him for another man and ditched the original guy on the morning train, so now he's begging the train to stop so he can get on. I think Sing-Jay fits the subject matter of the song well because he really just needs to vent for a little bit. Tonal shift from the first track, but not an unpleasant one.
This is by Scotty, also known as DJ Scotty, also known as David Scott. Now, Scotty is toasting or rapping over samples of a 1967 cover of Stop That Train by Keith and Tex. The original version came out in 1965 by the Spanish Tonians. At first, Scotty comments on the action. He says, "Did you hear that? Express yourself, brother." But then he raps about how it's happening to him. She's leaving on the train to meet another guy, and Scotty just can't take it. He wants that train stopped, and he's yelling out, to draw your brakes. And I love the bass on this. It's just very deep, and the groove is nice and slow. And that's one thing about a lot of these songs, like they just have like this very deep, I don't want to say muddy sound because it's kind of clear, but it's just like very deep, like it just pulls you down and pulls you in.
Next track, Rivers of Babylon. This song you also need a lot of context for. First, the song makes frequent references to Psalms 19 and 137 in the Bible.
Ooh, you did do your homework.
Second, there's references to Rastafarian history. The figurehead for Rai refers to Haile Selassie, born Tafari Makonnen, regarded by Rastafari as the second coming of Christ. This is also the Rastafarians calling for black liberation, with the Jamaican government banning the song. There's a lot of layers that need to be pulled back so you can fully appreciate it. It demands that you research the original context. Maybe it won't resonate with you the way it would other Rastafarians or Jamaicans, but you can learn about the culture and why this song was important.
This is by the Melodians, and they were steadily active from 1963 to 1973. And it's been intermittent since then, since especially all three original members are dead.
Ooh.
But they're still keeping it going somehow.
Huh.
And yeah, as you said, the lyrics for Rivers of Babylon are based on Psalms 19 and 137 in the Bible, mostly 137. And yeah, the song is heavily steeped in the Rastafarian faith. There are references to Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, from whom Rastafarians see as divinely important to their faith. Mm-hmm. He's referred to as Ofari and King Alpha in the song. And yeah, this did lead the Jamaican government banning the song when it was released in 1970, as the references were considered subversive and potentially inflammatory. But producer Leslie Kong went to bat for the Melodians, attacking the government for banning the song. He pointed out the lyrics were taken from the Bible and psalms that had been sung by Jamaican Christians for ages. The government lifted the ban, and after that, it only took 3 weeks for the song to hit #1 on Jamaican charts.
Nice.
And again, we get another bass-heavy slow groove. And it's also been noted that the song's melody bears a strong resemblance to How Dry I Am. How dry I am, how wet I'll be if I don't find that bathroom key. I found the key, I opened the door, and then I went all over the floor.
That's a real song?
That's the impolite version. The other one is How Dry I Am, nobody knows how dry I am.
Oh, okay.
Weird fun fact.
Okay.
One of Rivers of Babylon's songwriters, Frank Farian, went on to create Milli Vanilli.
Oh, wow. That ended well.
Well, for Frank Farian, it did. He got his monies.
Oh, sure. Next track, Many Rivers to Cross. The volume of that church organ soothed me right away. And I'm sorry, but as soon as you referenced the White Cliffs of Dover, all I could think of was that running gag from the Beatles movie Help, where the swimmer keeps showing up and asking the Beatles, White Cliffs of Dover? Then they point him in the right direction and he says, thanks, before swimming off. But I guess this song was semi-autobiographical because Jimmy lived in England for a while he was trying to break into the reggae scene. I wonder if it was like Jimi Hendrix, where he was considered part of the British invasion since everyone back home was too goddamn racist to give him a chance. He's singing this song as a spiritual, or like when people vent doing the blues, and styling the music that way is a perfect fit. He's not complaining, just letting out his frustrations before he crosses the next river. He did make it, though. Good for you, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wrote and recorded this in 1969, and he wrote it due to the trouble he was having trying to make it in the UK. He held back on doing the song because he didn't think a ballad would be appropriate for his album. But on the last day of recording, he asked if he could play a song idea he had. For Jimmy, quote, I started singing, the band came in, and that was it. Once. That was it.
Wow.
Unquote. It got put on the album, which went on to be a hit as it contained Wonderful World, Beautiful People, his first top 40 hit. Mm-hmm. Music-wise, it's a straightforward ballad. I tried listening really hard for like some sort of reggae feel, but it really doesn't have one, which, I mean, it's still a really good song. Mm-hmm. And it really does sound spiritual with, crossing the rivers, and you got the church organ, and you've got the singers in the background. Yeah, really well done song, and it's been recorded a lot. I mean, Cher, John Lennon,
wow,
other people. I couldn't bring myself to pull up anyone else's version, so.
Next track, Sweet and Dandy. This is a very sweet song. A married couple are freaking out before they get married because of how stressed they are, while their family members around them tell them to get a hold of themselves. My God, pull yourself together! But maybe they're hung up over the wedding prep and how much it costs for the cake and cola. Side note, if it's the Caribbean rum cake like what Mike and I got to try at Chocolate Fest at Bally's, they're going to be very happy once they have dessert. But it ends happily with a sweet and dandy wedding. I think the moral of the story is don't let wedding planning stress you out. There are bigger problems in this world, and you should throw the wedding you want to have, not the kind that everyone else around you thinks you should have.
Mm-hmm. Uh, this is by Toots and the Maytals. It was written by Frederick Toots Hibbert. And yeah, it's definitely a wedding song. Mama's crying, Papa thinks she's foolish, Johnson the groom is afraid, and his uncle has to hold up his head. There's dancing in the barroom, wedding cake, and plenty of cola wine, which I had to look up.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's equal parts of cheap red wine and cola. And they said the cheaper the red wine, the
The better
better
it is.
the better it'll
Interesting.
be. And everything turns out sweet and dandy. And yeah, it's a very happy song.
Next track.
And if I'd been thinking right about 30 years ago, I would have had it played at our wedding. But
Oh,
there you go.
there you go. Next track. The title of the movie. The Harder They Come. The point of this song is religious hypocrisy. The zealots are reassuring Jimmy that when he passes, he'll sit under his own vine and fig tree. And he's like, well, that's nice, but I could use a little help right now. And suddenly it's all no hablo inglés. Well, Jimmy's not going to sit around waiting for someone to help him since they have no interest in doing that, apparently. So he's going to do it himself. And if they keep trying to knock him down, he'll get back up and pray for them to be forgiven. These are empowering lyrics set to the most chill musical arrangement, but Jimmy's voice brings the much needed grit. Not too much, but just enough to season the song like a soup, and it's quite tasty.
Yep. During the filming of the movie, Jimmy was starring in. He came up with the line "The Harder They Come," and director Perry Henzell thought it would make a great title for the movie and asked Jimmy to come up with a theme song, which he did. So yeah, Jimmy is told there's a pie in the sky waiting for him when he dies, but he wants to get his share now of what's his, as we all do.
Mm-hmm.
Oppressors are trying to keep him down, but he knows the harder they come after him, the harder they'll fall. And there's that line, which I'm going to screw it up, but I'm going to see if I can remember it, about he'd rather be a free man in a grave than on his knees as a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great song, one of the greatest reggae songs ever.
Next track, Johnny Too Bad. I wonder if there's a connection between this song and Nina Simone's Sinner Man, because they both have the exact same lyric, where you gonna run to? In Sinner Man, it's to the devil, but at first, he runs to the rock to hide, just like the singers suggest Johnny do, even though in both cases, running to the rock doesn't work. It would also be fascinating to see if this is Sinner Man sung from a different point of view, because we're never told what the Sinner Man's sins are. Robbing, stabbing, looting, and shooting would do it, but would it be enough for God to tell you to go to the devil? Maybe. This song has opened up a world of possibilities.
So the Slickers were a reggae band from the 1960s to 70s. One of the songwriters, Trevor Wilson, lived the song and died an early violent death, and his nickname was Batman.
Wow.
Hmm.
Because he beat people with a bat?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe?
Eh.
Johnny Too Bad is a rude boy. The rude boy, and yes, there are also rude girls, was associated with violent, disoriented youths. The rude boy subculture originated in the 1960s. They dressed in sharp, tight suits like Sean Connery wore in the James Bond movies.
Wait, isn't that Shantytown, the next song?
No, there's more.
Okay,
There's
sorry.
more.
Sorry.
Shantytown's another rude boy song. We'll get to
It's
it.
been-
Don't
it's been a
worry.
minute,
Don't worry.
sorry.
Don't worry. We'll get to it.
My bad.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so they wore the tight suits like Sean Connery wore in James Bond movies, along with thin ties and pork pie hats. A slew of songs came out either promoting or rejecting the rude boy lifestyle, which is kind of like their version of, I guess, the Mods in England. The Slickers point out how Johnny walks down the street with his pistol and ratchet at his waist, robbing, stabbing, looting, and shooting. One day a voice will come. Where you gonna run to? You're gonna run to the rock for rescue, but there will be no rock. Organ-dominated happy reggae, not what you'd expect considering the lyrics. And the thing is, I remember there was a band called Havana 3 a.m., which Paul Simon from The Clash, that was his band. And their song that they had a hit with on college radio was called Reach the Rock. And it was, I'm going to reach the rock where I'll be safe.
Okay.
And Paul Simon also gives a little testimony in the How Do They Come booklet. And also, fun fact, when I worked with Bernard at Whole Foods,
Yeah.
his nickname for me was Rude Boy.
Which we're going to get into with the next track.
Okay.
007, Shantytown. I can't hear the term rude boy without thinking about how that was Bernard's nickname for you at Whole Foods. The mix of this song sounded older than the late 60s. I thought it was from the 50s originally. Now I'm also thinking maybe that nickname wasn't a good thing.
For me,
Yeah. Because of the violence it's associated with.
I never tried to live up to it at Whole Foods.
Good, unless he was referring to the sharp dressing aspect. The moral of the story is you can think you have all the power, you can be ruthless, you can even have the nicest clothes that James Bond would wear. But at the end of the day, you will be caught and all of it will mean nothing. I think if the Fallout series was set in Jamaica, this song would be excellent. For context, video game where there's nuclear fallout and aesthetically and musically they're trapped in the 1950s.
This is by Desmond Decker and the Aces. It's from 1967. And the title and some lyrics refer to James Bond and the movie Ocean's 11, which the Rude Boys admired. Per Wikipedia, Desmond Decker wrote the song after watching news coverage of a student demonstration against government plans to build an industrial complex on land close to a beach. It descended into violence. Didn't go well. It also deals with rude boys who get out of jail and continue committing crimes. Despite the song being a cautionary tale, it was a big hit among the Rudies. It also became Desmond Decker's first international hit. It was a huge hit among the mods in the UK. And in 1969, Desmond Decker would get his only American top 40 hit with Israelites, going all the way to number 9. I'm Casey Kasem. 007 is considered rock steady, which came after ska but had a slower tempo in ska. This allowed for more focus on the bass line, and that bass line is very deep on this.
Next track, Pressure Drop. When I first heard those opening notes, I thought, I'm 99% sure this was used in The Big Lebowski. Turns out it wasn't, but it was in the animated film, an extremely goofy movie with the cover done by the Specials. But I've definitely heard this version before because of the humming. I recognize that part instantly. This song is simple. If you do wrong, you will face the consequences. But saying the pressure will drop on you, like barometric pressure falling indicating a storm, is very clever. This was definitely one where I let the vibes just wash over me as they sang the chorus and hummed over and over. Important message, but good to listen to when you want to turn your brain off and chill. Oh, and shout out to the lead singer. He puts everything into it as he shouts pressure over and over towards the end of the song. It's like his life depends on it, and it's so well done.
Yep. Once again, this is Toots and the Maytals and was written by Toots Hibbert, who was the singer. Mm-hmm. He said this song was about revenge, but karmic revenge.
Oh.
Per Toots, the title was a phrase I used to say. If someone done me wrong, rather than fight like a warrior, I'd say, the pressure's going to drop on you. And one of my favorite reggae songs ever, and I'm going to say it, Come at me, Marley fans. I like Toots and the Maytals a lot better than Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Oh, well, good luck getting into Jamaica now, Dad. Next track, Sitting in Limbo. Another one where I knew I'd heard it before from how the backup lady singers repeated the word limbo over and over. As for what it's about, title says it all. But Jimmy knows once he's out, he'll be able to continue fighting the good fight. And I think that repetition of the word limbo is intentional, to make you feel like you're in a musical limbo of sorts, as that part repeats and goes on and on and on. If someone was playing limbo at a party, I'd put this on just for the laughs.
This is from 1971, and it was recorded at the Muscle Shoals Sound Studio in Alabama, of all places. Mm-hmm. Jimmy's sitting in limbo, but he knows it won't be for long. He'll be moving on to something. Don't know what it is, but something's going to happen. But for now, he has time to search his soul. He also sings, well, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on. And again, this is more pop than reggae, but it's a really great song.
Next track, You Can Get It If You Really Want. Hold it, didn't we just hear this one? Well, this one is 3 seconds longer. Like, I don't mind hearing it twice, it's a good song. Like, hey, let's do it one more time. I think the only difference is the mixing, but Dad, if there are more differences, please let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, again, but this is sort of a dub version. You get the chorus, but you don't get the verses. However, if you listen really, really, really closely, you can make out the verses. They just stuck them deep in the background instead of like eliminating them altogether. Because the first time I heard it, I thought, wait a minute, why do I still hear? This is really weird. But, you know, they tried to make it a dub, and, you know, I guess maybe given the technology at the time, you can only do so much.
Final track, The Harder They Come. Hey, it's the title of the movie, and we're hearing it again. But this time, it's 35 seconds shorter. My theory is that they played these songs over the end credits of the movie or something, which is a sad thought, though, because I just picture people walking up out of the theater while this song is playing like, okay, that was a good movie, time to find my parking spot and go home.
Yeah, this is an alternate take, and fine by me, because a great song is a great song. And like I said earlier, they put these two songs on again at the end of the movie because they went so well with the dramatic closing scenes,
Mm-hmm.
in which one of the characters early in the movie tells Jimmy's character Ivan while they're at the movies, they're watching some Western, and his friend says to him something along the lines that Starboy doesn't get killed until the last reel of the film, which kind of foreshadows what's
Oh, okay.
gonna happen.
Overall, I liked Jimmy Cliff a lot. I like how his reggae gives you parting words of wisdom while creating the chillest vibes. So if you don't listen to reggae, but you're curious, use this as a stepping stone. And maybe go watch the movie too.
This is highly recommended. It's essential, and it makes you realize there's more to reggae than Bob Marley. And YouTube has the whole album, so you can check it out.
Alright, as always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, because the more you interact with the YouTube video, the greater chance we have of appearing on the YouTube homepage. If you follow me on social media, I post the episodes there. If you're friends with my dad, tell him what you want to listen to, and he'll send it right to your inbox. As always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. We will be back next time with another album to pick a gripe about. Dad, anything you want to say before we sign off, rude boy?
Yeah, something you referred to earlier. I'm really surprised that Between the Lions never had him on for Jimmy Cliffhanger. Hanging from a cliff.
And that's why he's called Cliffhanger.